Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York, a night out. We will begin this scene, set it, one might say, in a vehicle adoringly dubbed the Mystery Machine. On the driver's side, Lucas Mathis, rocking along with his bobbleheads and his hula girls and whatever other horribly tacky things he has put inside his beloved van. And on the passenger side, Maeve McFione, pureblood princess, rocking through this winterscape with her window all the way down, elbow kind of hooked out over the door, head leaned towards the window, just to make sure that she's not cheating at all, and taking solace in whatever warmth or insulation the van might have provided normally. The pair have gone on an adventure known as, hey, let's go over there, without any planning or real thought to the process. Yay! Hop in the van. Because in light of a certain someone recently making it to Cliath, there's no reason that he can't escort the Cubs off Sept now, is there? Shooting a quick text to Olaf as they did so in order to prevent untimely consequences upon their return. The two likely headed off quickly enough to assure that that Olaf couldn't prevent them from doing so. So where exactly is Lucas driving? I know that it's on Long Island, but that's about all I've got.
Lucas will go ahead and take one of the major thoroughfares. Well, Highway 495 at least. Go ahead and hop on to that interstate. Well, not interstate actually, because it's only connected to the island, but it's just highway. Travels past Nassau County, leaves Nassau County, enters Suffolk County, and as he sort of goes ahead and drives, some salient landmarks might make themselves present and known to Maeve. I believe Maeve has only done this trek through the Umbra.
One second, I'm letting Bob know so that he can respond accordingly to his text message.
Mm-hmm.
And Maeve has made the trip to the caern. Not even properly through the Umbra. There was some weird fluke of time-space where they stepped across and there they were. So she has not seen the trail there, but she has seen it going back and probably has an eye for at least natural landmarks, not necessarily road names and signs. So it's possible that she'll recognize some of them, though likely not most of them going from the other direction.
Mm-hmm. You notice Lucas is actually referring to a printout of notes that he got from the glove box. The notes seem to be fairly old, a little bit yellow. The paper didn't really survive all that long in pristine condition, but enough for him to go ahead and read the instructions. Go ahead and pass from the highway to a thoroughfare, and from the thoroughfare more to a much more rural highway, rural intersection, until you're finding yourselves very quickly on a winding path until you find yourself in a recreational area with a bunch of parking attached to it. And in this recreational area, in front of two vending machines with heavy iron bars across them, Lucas is going to go ahead and park.
Maeve, meanwhile, has like enough enjoyed the drive for all that it is. Pretty chilly when you're going at, car speed instead of walking speed. She'll certainly have glanced over at the directions that he's pulled out and probably cast him a questioning glance at some point or another. But in the end, it wasn't necessarily important where the directions came from so much as that they were good. So when they pull in and finally park, the enthusiastic Ginger will be happy probably to get out of her seat because, let's face it, they've probably been in there a while. It's a good long drive. So she'll give the car an affectionate pat, roll up the window, and hop out to get a good leg stretch in.
Lucas will likewise go ahead and pop out of the driver's seat, go ahead and walk to the back, take his key, open it up, grab 2 bags, throw one of them Maeve's direction, grab one of them and sling them over his shoulder, lock the man up, pat it also very, very affectionately. And when he comes back to Maeve, he's got these yellowed instructions, and he's flipped them over a little bit. When he flips them over, you can see there's actually quite a very, very small map, probably drawn in pencil and with the lines reinforced once or twice over the ages. But it looks decent enough, or at least looks good enough. Maybe a bit of a tackle like during the night. Probably should have done this during the day, but what you gonna do?
That would be way too easy.
Absolutely.
Besides, at that point, Olaf could have argued that she had other responsibilities. What's he going to tell her to do at night?
Probably sleep.
We all know she doesn't do that.
No, never.
Maeve will, perhaps not gracefully, but will catch the backpack and go ahead and shrug it on. And probably sidle over to kind of glance at the page, furrowing her brow before finally glancing up. Where'd you get that?
Let's see. One of the Coggies, one of the Coggy-kin about a year back went ahead and made instructions for all of us to meet up towards the second caern site to do some just general labor.
Oh, that's right. I guess you guys helped with the trenches and all that. I don't know what else he had planned, but
Yeah. Nearly every single child of Gaia went ahead and grabbed a shovel to go ahead and move some trenches over for at the behest of Kachina Raya for some odd reason. I don't really know all the details.
it was for Ocean. Well, the old man of the ocean, so that he could protect the tree.
I hope he appreciates the work. He goes ahead and looks at it even more. Goes ahead and takes a flashlight out from the pack, clicks it on. We have ourselves, I think, about a 20-minute hike towards the first landmark, which is the beginning of the ditch next to the river. And from there to the actual physical tree might be another 30 minutes. Depends on how fast we go and how accurate the map is.
And she'll kind of glance around to see kind of the nature of the park. I mean, at least here it looks like it's a pretty open and publicly walked area. Well, I mean, there are ways we could go faster, but probably not the best idea. Though she does, huh?
He goes ahead and looks at you and says, well, I wasn't planning on going on 4 Pauls today.
She'll stick her tongue out at him. But she is a little more alert here. It's the pretty classical reaction if you take any sort of canine relay and move it to a new area. They go on sort of a high alert, try to take in all the sights, sounds, smells, etc. So maybe it's just because she spent so much time in Lupus since coming to learn of it, or maybe she's just really excitable. But whatever the case, she is pretty. I don't want to say alert for the 5th time, but you know,
Aware of her surroundings.
very. So she'll
Which is
look
never,
to Fallen. Oh, sorry.
that's never a bad thing.
It's true. She'll be looking to Fallen step alongside him as he points them in the right direction. Though depending on what all he's doing, once he has a direction set, she'll probably nudge him to turn off the flashlight so they don't get any attention as they're walking through the more populated areas, especially with the full moon out. No need for that.
It is true. It is the full moon. So after just double checking the directions and making sure he understands the landmarks he needs to look for, goes ahead and clicks it off, stuffs it in the pack, starts walking down the trail. The night is cold. Well, not cold, cool, actually. The night is cool. The weather on Long Island being much more moderate than it is in the city quite proper. Something about the landscape and the skyscrapers goes ahead and fucks everybody up, but what can you do? He has his hands in his jean pockets, looped his thumbs around his belt loops, and is just generally walking on. Not going too fast, not going too slow, pretty much enjoying the night.
Maeve probably has her well, it's since it's not that cool, probably doesn't have gloves on, but has her hands kind of stuffed into like her little hoodie pouch at the front of her shirt. And she's likewise striding along just kind of well, casually, not slowly, but just walking without any real sense of urgency, and probably more often than not has her eyes cast skywards. She's not terribly good with the constellations. She's not Lucas after all, but she does appreciate the moon, especially when it's swollen so broadly. She doesn't feel the kind of siren's call she would from the Umbra, but she's certainly enjoying a full and proper shower of moonlight.
So how are your nights treating you, Maeve?
Well, I can sleep now, which is a nice change.
That's very nice. You going ahead and adjusting still with Winter's Band?
And let's just check to see whether I need to. Well, I guess I need to spend a point of gnosis just because I can't botch this late. Not unless it's that would have been an all-day thing. So I'll just say she has spent a point of gnosis for the day. So she just kind of shrugs. And when I put my mind to it, I do pretty well. I mean, there are days when the cold kind of gets to me, but it really hasn't been as bad as I expected, so she shrugs. It's just annoying not to be able to go inside where everyone else is.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine there's a lot of structures on the Sept that would go ahead and shelter you from, and at this point he goes ahead and steps up onto a log that's blocking their path and just reaches on over, pops on the other side. Yeah, I imagine it would be a bit disconcerting with all that structures around the Sept that people want to go ahead and huddle in.
Well, I mean, I can't blame them. It has been cold. It's just kind of lonely. I'm used to being in the cabin. I mean, I'm still seeing Ren every morning.
That's good. How's Ren?
Yeah. She'll kind of shrug. Well, most of the mornings I spent with her, I was still a little, out of it. So I really haven't gotten established enough to get as good a read on her as I do on some people. I mean, she always seems happy and nice enough, but I mean, I don't know. She feels like someone who thinks about a lot more and dwells on a lot more than she lets show. But she's always been very pleasant in the morning.
Thinks about, worries about, is concerned about more than she shows. Sounds like most Garou.
Well, I mean, and most people, they just act like weirdos, but Ren is better at playing it off like, I guess not like she doesn't have a care in the world, but like she can forget them.
She knows how to manage it.
She does.
Well, I'm glad that too many nights haven't been too cold for you.
Nope. The blankets help a lot. I really appreciate you running the dryer like every day.
Well, like every other day at least, but you know what? I didn't expect there actually be a dryer in Olaf's basement. That was a new one for me.
Olaf has a basement?
I would expect you to be more surprised that he has a dryer.
Well, I mean, I would be, but I mean, he has a pretty basic cabin.
Yeah, on the front side, it looks like a very, very basic cabin, but people have been telling me stories about what they find in there. Alleyways and corridors, rooms, basements, attics, all manner of different things.
Maeve quirks her brow. Please tell me
Lucas
you're
continu-
joking.
Lucas continues on, facing away from the Maeve, so that she can't read his face.
She's gonna get that very familiar, stubborn sort of expression going on. And eventually she's gonna reach over to kind of not shove his shoulder or slap his shoulder, but just kind of pat his shoulder.
He goes ahead and turns around. He's got a stupid smile on his face. What?
You're so full of shit.
Uh, and
So where are you finding a dryer to use? Is there one in the
Uh,
cabin?
no, the recreation center actually has a bit of a laundry room to its self.
Nah, that makes sense.
I'm starting to rethink my living situation. Uh, don't think well, I got a decision to make. I can keep the apartment that I actually have, like, go back to that living situation. Or I could try to find someplace else. And someplace else, I think I would want to live out here somewhere. Maybe not in Suffolk County, but maybe in Nassau County.
What, like in a house?
Um, like a cabin, but yeah.
She looks a little struck by the idea. And it's obvious that her original intention was to respond with, like, isn't that expensive? But when he says cabin, it kind of reminds her pretty strongly of the fact that they just kind of went, hey, we need a cabin. And then there was a cabin. Which means this is clearly something that's possible. So she'll just kind of look a little thoughtful about it. So out here, closer to the other caern?
Out here, closer to the other heron, and mostly just out of Weaver territory. Sept the Green is nice, and the caern is strong, but It's pinned in mostly by the Weaver in its territory. And to be quite honest, I don't think I trust that. I don't think I trust that territory anymore.
That whole being completely surrounded on all sides by ass tons of weaver taint.
Yep, he goes ahead and points at you.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
So, I'm just looking at what's ahead, saying, hey, there's another spiritual center out here. Might as well make the use of it. And oh, hey, there's plenty of room to actually grow and develop this area.
And she'll continue to kind of now look more so about them into the wooded areas. Beginning to look almost searching, a little thoughtful. How hard is it, do you think, to veil protect an area?
Let's see how hard it is to veil protect an area. He goes ahead and scratches his chin for a quick hot second. That's a spiritual magic that I do not quite understand, but if they've erected such wards in place over at Central Park, I mean, they could go ahead and erect them anywhere, so long as that they were powered by our spiritual allies.
No. The totems in this cairn are both very agreeable ones, so I can't see why they'd refuse. I mean, of all the stuff I've studied, I really never looked into how the veil protected areas were there, just seeing that they were.
It's a combination of certain things, spirit magics to confuse and befuddle people, various kin that walk and patrol the area to make sure that strays don't accidentally find themselves breaking through, and vigilance.
I guess I'd have to go to Chimera to learn how to make a shield or a wall that would befuddle people like that and make them want to turn away.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way to go about it.
I think I could do that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they won't teach me yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. It is only a matter of time until they are wise enough to go ahead and gift you with all the talents that you need.
I may not be good at a lot of things, but I'll be a damn good theurge.
At this point, Lucas stops for a hot second as he looks down at a ditch that's about 5 to 6 feet down, and he notices something on the sidewalk. He goes ahead and diverts from the sidewalk just a little bit and picks something up. It's a shovel. The shovel has obviously been there for quite a while. Some dirt has gone ahead and caked in on the blade. He goes ahead and takes it and kicks some of the mud off before banging it against one of the local trees. Some of the bitches can't clean them up after themselves, I guess.
Maeve will definitely initially look a little confused to the random discovery of buried treasure, but upon realizing why it's probably there, she'll just kind of smirk over his antics. She'll come up to join him and kind of shrug. Knowing them, it probably has a freaking sticker on it that's like property of Central Park or something.
Not necessarily a sticker that says property of Central Park, but there is a flower stickered on it.
All the little hippie flower stickers.
Oh, absolutely.
Seems legit.
Lucas is going to go ahead and hop and slide his feet down to the bottom of the ditch and keep on walking.
David's probably going to look at least a little put off at his grace. And more slowly, more carefully, and far less gracefully will descend in his wake, preferably without sliding into a bunch of mud on her ass.
Actually, you realize that the bottom of this ditch was at one time definitely covered in all the mud, but it seems as if this time of night or this time of year there is a small little trickle that travels. It's only about an inch deep and mostly centers on the middle part of the ditch, but it's definitely there.
Oh, well, she'll get down there and kind of probably half step into it before pulling her boot back. And then kind of blink at how shallow it seemed and kind of crouch down to examine the lack of flow, as it were. I kind of glance back towards the beginning of the ditch area, or the end, to see which it is.
It's definitely flowing more in the direction that Lucas is going, and the opposite end opens up a little bit, and far towards that end, your ears go ahead and pick up water, a river, or a creek.
Maybe we'll just settle for now, at least, for making a bit of a mental note to go back and see if there's anything she can clear, see if there's a clog or something, because while she supposes it wouldn't take much water to convey the spirit into the area, she worries a bit that the flow may not be sufficient to allow the, to serve as a current for the old man of the ocean. But she'll, after kind of glancing behind and then furrowing her brows and wrinkling her nose in annoyance, finally flip back around and hurry a bit to catch up.
You see, Lucas is still there, still going at the same pace. He stopped for a hot second to look in your direction. And actually, he'll go ahead and ask, "Yeah, what's up?"
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, I told you, the whole point of the ditches was to bring in, well, I think they were going to use what was it? I can't remember the term. You probably know it, but we're going to use something to filter the water up through the dirt to get the salt out. But the point was to get the water from the ocean here. And I mean, she'll kind of bend down and poke her finger in it to kind of get an idea of just how shallow it is and kind of pick it back up afterwards and shake it. There's only maybe, I don't know, maybe a little more than an inch in some places.
I think the term you're looking for is desalination.
Well, yes, I was trying to think of the word for the. It's not aqueduct. It's something else. But the process that does it, or the method where it's filtering up through the ground or from a lower water source.
Subterranean aqueduct desalination.
Sounds fancy. I'll take it.
There you go. Made it on the spot, so it's got to be true.
But yeah.
See, this is the part of the natural disaster movie where the two heroes are just nonchalantly walking the area, making various notes and philosophies about, the nature of nature itself and mankind's interaction with, and you get a few smart little quips, and there's a little bit of tension there, but not a full-blown on romance, because the point of the film is not the romance. The romance is a subplot that never really gets fulfilled towards the end. There's a stupid smile on Lucas's face.
You're kind of a jerk, and you're lucky I'm not that, well, not that easily scared anymore. Kind of, mixed face.
I remember digging this path about a year ago.
Sorry, say it again?
He goes ahead and says out loud, I remember digging this path about a year ago.
Was it that long?
Not necessarily an entire year, but about a year. If I was to guess, about 8 months.
Huh.
Middle of the summer. Middle of frickin' middle of freaking August or July, middle of summer anyways. It was really, really hot. Lots of sweat and blood and tears went into this ditch.
Huh. Well, I guess she kind of looks a little puzzled because Kachina and I only came here. Well, I mean, I had my first change at the end of November, well, midway through November, so it hasn't been that long since we talked to the old man of the ocean. I guess he just repurposed the trenches we already had.
These trenches?
I don't know. I just know
no,
the point was to bring the water around the cairn itself so that there was essentially kind of a border, a place where things would have to cross, and a way for the water to get close enough to the tree to purify it if anything happened to it.
He goes ahead and shrugs. If I remember correctly, it was one for the caern spirit itself, just to bring some cleansing water to it. I don't know what you guys were doing.
I don't either. I mean, it was Kachina. On the bright side, I mean, April's coming. So
And
hey,
what comes with April?
You forget? April Fool's Day. Our chiminage to Ratatosk. We have to have a pranking contest.
Oh God, no.
We
I'm not
just
looking forward
can't
to
bring
that
any
at all.
Aruns with us.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Oh, come on. As long as people realize it's all in good fun, it's really all in good fun, and Ratatosk will be pretty happy with us.
Fair enough. It's just I can never think of anything. It's always been one of those off holidays that I just cannot get involved in.
Just do what you do every day.
Be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So, I've looked at this place once or twice before. I know this canal that we went ahead and made. I've seen a few different artificial moats also being made. I know of a few different highways and thoroughfares that pass quite close to the big tree in the Umbra. I've also looked at a few different cabins out back that we can go ahead, like, store people and or extend if we really need to.
What the? Sorry, fighting with electronics. Losing. There we go. Jeez, that's weird. Okay.
Did you win?
Maybe.
Hopefully remain stable.
Hopefully. Jeez. Okie dokie then. That was special. Just gonna let that sit there. So as they're walking along, she'll continue glancing around in a desperate search for anything familiar that's probably kind of failing.
Lucas will go ahead and, as he's walking, ask you, so, what does this place need?
What does it need?
Yes, what does it need?
She'll kind of tilt her head a little bit because she's not sure this counts, but she's heard this is funny. More cowbell?
Right.
She'll start with kind of a tentative grin and then snicker a bit. And then go back to kind of glancing around. I don't know. I mean, I can't, see, quote, quote, air quotes, as well like this. So I don't really know what's here and what isn't. And I can't see on the other side. So I don't know. I mean, more of us.
Definitely more of us. No. Go ahead and compare and contrast. What does this place have or doesn't have that Sept the Green has?
That it actually needs.
Yes.
I mean, I still say first and foremost, it doesn't have Garou. It doesn't have us here to defend it. There's spirits that we've contracted, but we should be here. I don't like that we aren't.
Absolutely. So if you were to station a pack out here, what would the pack need?
Definitely a theurge.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, probably more than one Arun, actually, just in case. I'd say you'd probably want one of each, but you definitely need more than one Arun. More than one Ragabash wouldn't hurt either. She kind of glances around, just for keeping an eye on things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess we could go without a Galliard unless they have some ability to contact all the way back at Sept that we wouldn't otherwise.
Galliards have the ability to howl for really, really long distances.
But wouldn't everything else hear it too?
Unless you're, well, it depends on the kind of message that you're trying to send. If the worm is already at your doorstep and you make a call for reinforcement because the worm is here, shrug. I mean,
True.
it's not as fantastical and awesome as getting on your phone and making a call, but sort of gestures.
Yeah, true. So, a couple Aruns, definitely at least one reasonably practiced theurge. I'd probably send another theurge here to train, just to become familiar with the local spirits. She'll kind of stick a hand in her pocket and rifle around for a second to make sure something's in there and then pull it back out. I mean, having the veil protection is also a good idea, just so there's one less thing to have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, since it's not surrounded by a city, I mean, heck, I bet out here you're more likely to have to worry about wild taint than worm taint.
And for all those people that you would station here, what would they need?
Shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Probably whatever, I would send them with talons. Plenty of things to give them a boost when they need it, or in case the theurges aren't capable of taking care of everyone on their own. I mean, our connection can only be so strong and only last so long when it's being tapped constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there's already a moon bridge.
If there's not, one can be created, I am sure. Lucas stops for a quick second, turn around, look down at Maeve. What do you think about? Because I can see you're thinking about something.
Well, I mean, you're talking about this, and it's something I was planning on doing anyways. Ever since I came out here, I don't like that this place is empty. I don't like that there's no one to keep it safe, but I also very much don't like that there's no one here to tend to the spirits of the caern, the totems that have been bound to it. Never mind all the various spirits that are protecting it in our stead. There should at the very least be a theurge out here to offer them chiminage.
What kind of chiminage do they take? Do you know?
Mm. I don't remember offhand the chiminage for the earth spirits or the wind spirits. I have the Brazil nuts for Ratatosk. We have to preserve the squirrels here, allow them free range, make them homes within the cairn. Old Man of the Ocean. I can't remember what he asked for either. She kind of actually will pause and close her eyes and really, really try to bring the whole memory back up to the forefront and kind of scroll through it, thinking.
Take your time.
I think I'd have to sit down and really think about it, but I know that at the very least there's the 2 totems bound to the cairn itself, and I don't know what they expect, but I know that a lot of us offer chiminage and at least once a month have to offer a moot to them in order to keep the cairn strong. Who's doing that here?
Goes ahead and shrugs. There's a rite called the Moot Opening Rite. No worry, I can go ahead and open a mute and close it in rapid succession.
It's true, but we still have to actually, someone has to be here to do it every month.
Blink, I am a capable body. I am currently standing
I meant up till now. You count. And then on top of the 2 of them, there's the earth spirits, the wind, the 4 winds. There are storm spirits. There is the Old Man of the Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Ratatosk. I think you and Ratatosk will get along fine. At the very least.
Oh no, I think Ratatosk would be way, way too clever for me.
Oh, probably.
I don't know Ratatosk. Who is Ratatosk? What kind of spirit is he?
He's a squirrel.
He's
really... Like, if... He's kind of a cartoon almost. He's a storybook character. He is a squirrel who is able to move incredibly rapidly from the very base of the tallest tree to the very top. He is a trickster who's off usually tricking snakes and eagles and the like, just for fun. Mm-hmm. He's a messenger because he can travel so quickly, which is why we asked him to help, because if something happens here, we would know about it very quickly. Mm-hmm. And, well, he's not a weak spirit either.
Weak as in he's a capable combatant, or not weak?
I mean, as in combatant. Like, try not to laugh, but he was wearing like a little uniform and a little hard hat. She's like miming it with her hands, and he had a cigar. Okay, like, no joke. Squirrel with a cigar.
Squirrel with a cigar. Okay, now I need to know. Now I kind of know what I need to present to him. The first time I meet him. Cigars, obviously.
He seems to put a lot of value in a good joke or a good prank. And he cares a lot about his kin. So, bringing them feed, offering them shelter, makes a big difference.
Understood. Understood. If you can go ahead and give me what Ratatos needs as a Chinage, I think I can start that up.
Well, what he asked from Kachina was the pranking contest on April 1st. The more elaborate, the more extreme the pranks, the better. But if somebody takes a prank poorly, becomes like hurt physically or emotionally, if they frenzy because they overreact, you lose the value of the prank.
Okay.
And that he wishes the Ragabashes to celebrate that in his name so that he has something fun to watch. He finds it very funny.
I'll go ahead and remember that.
And she'll finally tug out the little, well, not little, but she'll pull out the bag of Brazil nuts from the cabin pantry and give it a waggle. Everyone's all about birdseed and breadcrumbs, but these guys really like nuts, especially Brazil nuts. So bringing them as an offering isn't a bad idea either. Not necessary, but
Okay. I remember that. It's at about this point that oh hell, we can go ahead and throw a meadow in here somewhere. It's about this moment that the ditch goes ahead and starts to run along a more open meadow. And for Lucas's part, he goes ahead and stops and uses the shovel as a bit of a lever, bit of a grabbing point, shoves it into the wall of the ditch, and scampers his ass up, turns around, offers a hand.
oh yeah, she's gonna need the hand. And she'll happily wait in place until he's up there and solid and turned around, and then take the hand and scramble far less notably up the incline.
You find yourself in a bit of a meadow. There's a bit of a clearing in this meadow, surrounded on all sides by tall grass, but it seems as if somebody has gone ahead and taken pains to stamp most of it down and provide 4 logs, making a bit of a square that's about 20 by 20 foot square, actually.
She'll tromp over to investigate, looking curious.
In the middle of the square, there is a pit surrounded on all sides by rock and dirt. Fire pit.
Yeah, she'll kind of glance back to Lucas. You guys do this?
Yeah. After we had done with the main ditch, we got called upon to go ahead and make somebody went ahead and saw this meadow and decided to be the perfect place to set up a meeting point. Little fire pit.
I'll call it a win.
Definitely. Lucas is going to go ahead and sit his happy ass on one of the logs, making up the perimeter of this square. Take off his pack, sit it down on the ground, start looking on through it. He goes ahead and places on the ground next to it one wine bottle, half full, and several different sandwiches, actually. Offers one to Maeve.
She'll clamber on over to join him and was probably kind of patting around for her water, which she'll pause, but go ahead and continue at least to properly rehydrate before she gets in on this this wine situation that's going on. And we'll stretch the other hand out for the sandwich because hell yes, sandwiches.
Hell yes, sandwiches. You were offered a sandwich, you may take it. Lucas, for his part, goes ahead and unwraps his sandwich in front of him and starts munching down.
Yep, sandwich disappears. Nom nom.
Not much of a dinner, but it's there, he says.
Better than having to go fishing.
Lucas goes ahead and breathes in this very, very crisp pine air and goes ahead and breathes out in the same breath. This is a good place. It's a clean place.
She'll grin broadly and nod agreement. This is kind of more what I imagine when someone talks about a caern, even if it's not what I've heard about or what I've seen first off.
What do you imagine a caern to be?
Well, I mean, they're supposed to be wellsprings of Gaia. Having it in the city just seems kind of wrong. So, this is kind of what I imagine. She'll gesture around. I prefer running around in the woods anyways. I mean, if you're going to be secluded, you might as well be secluded somewhere that's clean and alive.
And wide and open, and where you can run free.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to run around without having to worry about running into tourists all the time. Campers maybe, but I'm sure we could memorize the trails.
If we got a hold of the Parks and Recreation office attached to this park, then we would never have to worry about campers because we would only go ahead and authorize those people you wanted inside.
Wouldn't anyone notice?
We let the occasional one in. We go ahead and set a perimeter around them. And at most, they hear a bunch of howls. People hear howls all the time. I'd rather have it more controlled and get people whining to be let in than let the random jackass with a rifle in try to shoot one of us or one of our kin.
That puts a more stern expression on her face and resolves her into a nod of agreement. Yeah, you're right. You never know what someone's going to get up to. You can't watch them all the time.
This place is clean. This place is wonderful. This is a place that I would rather call home.
So, if this falls under the protection of our Sept, does that mean, I don't know, we couldn't have another keeper of the land?
He goes ahead and nods in your direction. It's possible to have another keeper to go ahead and cover another caern.
You know, once we were established here, wouldn't it kind of make sense to raise the cubs out here?
Yeah,
Instead of in the city?
it would. There'd be a lot less, a little bit less of a complication with the whole having to keep them in a very, very small and strict area. You could let them roam around a little bit more and keep pigeons or doves to go ahead and warn people when they stray too far, bring them back in. And Nicholas would go ahead and appreciate this place a lot more if he understood how big and wide he could run.
I think all of us would.
Well, of course, he is a Bonar,
Well,
so I
except
cannot
maybe
speak
Senna.
for his tribe. Or, shouldn't say Bonar. Bonar stock. I presume too much.
Well, yeah, but it's also just that, like, if we're out here and, you know, someone slips, the chances they're going to actually find anyone that's not one of us to make their mistake on pretty slim.
Gives a head and nods. And you can explain away any howls. One of
Yep.
the worst things, one of the most outrageously crazy things that happen in the freaking Sept the Green Central Park is that people would howl in the delirium, and that was somewhat of a veil breach.
Mwah.
Wolf howls in the park are no joking matter, and it's been an annoyance too much. But
Yeah.
out here, nobody gives a fuck.
Worst thing we'd get is, I don't know, biologists or something coming to check out the rumored wolf pack.
Something we could also intercept should we control the Parks and Recreation office attached to this one.
Or just have fun with, because what do they know? Hey, Lucas, want to fuck with decades of study?
No. Lucas is going to go ahead and reach out and bring you closer into a hug. A little sideways hug, but still a hug.
Yep. Oh, she's more than happy to. She'll scooch closer, steal another sandwich while she's that close, and just kind of settle that way. Not necessarily like firm hug the whole time, but just leaning against him, because counter leans are awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
So comfy, so lazy.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and settle here. Maybe be the first Garou in a long string of Garou that goes ahead and like colonizes this place. Would mean though I'd find myself less and less at the Sept though. The Sept Green, I should say. Might mean that my schedule and your schedule don't match that much.
Hmm.
You know what that means?
What?
He goes ahead and leans in and whispers to your ear, "You gotta grow the fuck up quicker."
She'll sputter, kind of laugh. I'm working on it. I mean, what do you want me to do? Nag chases? That doesn't seem like a good idea.
You could nag chases. I mean,
But he likes
adores
me.
you, kinda.
He likes me. I don't want that to change because I'm some obnoxious kid bothering him all the time.
You will have your day. You will have your time in the sun. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, I guess.
I hope mine's easy.
You feel a reassuring pat across your back and on your shoulder. Just don't worry about it.
Not especially. I mean, I feel like more and more people are pointing out the things I can't do, but when it comes to doing what Luna dictated, I'm pretty good at it.
And just go ahead and focus on that. I mean, let me tell you what I learned from my rite of passage. Don't presume shit. Take each moment as it is and perform with the information you have available. I mean, let me tell you this. All the stories that I heard about a rite of passage, all those dangerous quests, those famore to kill, those sacred places to go ahead and defend, those tests to memorize, those judgment calls to make. I had all those ideas inside my head when I approached the elders, but it wasn't until I went ahead and walked up to them and challenged to be a part of the Children of Gaia that actually told me what I needed to do, and I took it at face value. I performed the test as admirably as anybody would, and when I came back to them, they accepted me. It's no use worrying about what will happen until you know exactly what's expected of you. Go up to people, ask what's expected of you, and then once you get the challenge, once you get the directive and the instruction, perform it to the best of your ability.
I will. I don't know. It'd be kind of... Everyone was saying all those good things when I first came here, and about how I was going to do really well. Be kind of stupid if I was the first one to fail my rite of passage.
No, what was stupid was that I was the first one that passed and got accepted and became a cliath. That was silly and stupid and awkward and probably shouldn't have happened.
I don't know. I mean, okay, the word comfortable doesn't seem like it should apply, but you were a part of this life for, like, all your life. Of course you adapted well and quickly. You were already here. It kind of makes sense, really.
Fair enough.
And I mean, you already knew you were a laughing moon back when you were kin.
You see in the very, well, it's a full moon, so you can see it somewhat clearly. Lucas goes ahead and nods.
She'll grin. It's a fond memory. There was a lot of talking back then. A whole lot. And she rightly credits Lucas with much of her understanding of how the nation works, really. So she'll grin, and it's quite visible.
I'll say more to the air than anything else. I do not know what's going to be required of you. I do not know what your rite of passage will be about. I do not know what Fianna rite of passages are about, nor Theurge rite of passages are about, but I presume that you will pass. And if not, then they do not know what they are losing. Believe me, each tribe has their own criteria that they go ahead and mark down for.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
You'll all be fine.
Everyone calls me an overachiever. I should be better than fine.
Mm-hmm.
She chews on her lip for a second and then finally kind of grins and shrugs. I mean, I've already aided the Sept. And I still can't even summon.
You never needed to summon spirits. You were clever enough to know where they were and walk towards them.
Well, yeah. It's just, I mean, it seems to be kind of an earmark of a valid Theurge to know how to summon the spirits.
Who has told you that?
Katori.
Oh, fair enough. I will not refute the wisdom of my elders.
He said that he will prepare to teach it to me the moment that I am able to learn it, so that I will be in every way a Theurge. It's not about constantly using and abusing the ability, it's about having the option.
Fair enough. I know that would be very, very awkward to try to summon Unicorn or any of his aspects without summoning, since there are no Unicorn here, Telerium side, none of his children.
Yep.
Although, I see that, and you can probably find a Norwal somewhere in the North Arctic Sea trying to bang his head against a few ice picks, and I know for a fact that he is one of Unicorn's brood and still retains his horn in deference to him.
Well, I mean, if the need was desperate and I didn't have the ability to summon, I'd do like I did before when we spoke to Dog. I would probably have to offer something greater to get exactly what I was asking for, but
No, you're right. I've heard tell of Theurges contacting the messengers of people's broods in order to get to another aspect.
I mean, if I can't get a dove to do me that much at this point, I've probably done something wrong. Wouldn't be free, but I could probably do it if the situation really called for it.
Hmm.
Oh, and I don't know about you, but I haven't been hunting rabbit, not since the spirits started gathering around the hutch. So she kind of grins.
Any particular reason?
Well, I mean, most spirits ask that you keep their mundane brethren in mind. Kind of like Ratatosk. I'm sure Rabbit's the same way. And I'm sure that when time comes that I need to ask a favor of Rabbit, Rabbit will appreciate that I have not hunted his children in age. Others
Maybe.
do. The cycle is being preserved, but the fact that I'm doing so specifically out of respect for the spirit.
I can understand that, but I would also understand the spirit respecting that you honor any prey that you do take, even if it is under his, even if it is one of his material children, as long as you give the proper thanks and respect.
Of course. I just figured it was, I don't know, a nice gesture. If it came between that and starving, I'd do it, but it hasn't been necessary, so I just kind of haven't. And like I said, I know that others are still hunting. The whole cycle of feeding the predator is being preserved.
There's a program, there's an application, there's actually a simulation that is called Wolves and Hares. It's a very, very simple computer application. Basically, what it does is it takes an entire grid, and each grid represents either nothing, a wolf, or a hare. Well, wolves eat hares, and hares multiply, and wolves multiply based on set ratios. And if you go ahead and watch the simulation, you can see the cycle going through when there is no, whereas little to no wolves, there are many, many hares, and the wolves go ahead and start devouring the hares. But when there's not enough hares and hunting opportunities get slim, the wolves go ahead and, well, they don't reproduce, they starve and they die out, leaving the hares to go ahead and come back in full force. I guess you can call that a cycle.
It sort of is. I wonder if there's a specific magical number where you have enough hares that they reproduce quickly enough and enough are left to continue reproducing that both they and the wolf population grow.
Difficult to know. Requires much study.
Well, I'm still not the computery type, so I'll never know. So how far are we from the tree, you think?
How far are we from the tree? Let's see. If we were to go ahead and sidestep into the Umbra right now, I think we would be right on top of the huge structure.
Really? In a field?
It's a field here, but it might be something else in the Umbra.
It just seems weird that the tree wouldn't have a physical echo or mirror.
Oh, he goes ahead and looks at you. You mean that?
Yeah, the caern heart.
Oh shit. No, I saw it once.
Me too.
How would you describe it?
Big?
It was small for me.
I mean, when we went to Rabbit, weren't the others going into the tree?
They were hopping towards people who were in the tree.
That's what I mean. The people that they were assisting, weren't they inside it? Wouldn't it have to be pretty big?
The physical manifestation?
Oh, no, I don't even remember what the physical one looked like. I just remember the umbral.
That's kind of what I mean. On the Umbra side is a huge structure that you can see all the way from the Sept of the Green. But the physical manifestation of it, I only saw it the once. It was a very small little sapling. At least at that time. I shouldn't call it a very small sapling. It was like... You
Still a
see
young
Lucas
tree.
go ahead and scratch the back of his head as he tries to remember what that thing actually looked like so far back, so far ago. It was like a young girl, actually. I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but it was like a young girl. Kind of your height, kind of your slim build, wafy. But if you just squinted hard enough, you could see small little features that made it look like a girl.
She kind of grins. You telling me the caern heart is a dryad?
He goes ahead and shrugs. I don't know, it just looked like it.
Well, it is a living tree with a spirit. If it's in the shape of a girl, I'd call it a dryad, or as close as I'm ever going to find anyways.
In New York City, with all the weird shit that is usually backtracked across this place?
One second.
Mm-hmm. Do-do-do, na-na-na-na-na.
Alright, sorry. Beard was asking me a thing. So, well, they're settled in, and I mean, this is as good a place as any to just hang out. So, if we'll glance around, there was wine, huh?
Yes, there was.
Well, why the fuck not? She's probably had a good bit of her water just to make sure that she's not being stupid about it. But she'll gesture to the bottle and shoot him a questioning look. Kind of a "what's that for" look.
He goes ahead and swigs the the bottle of wine is only half full. All in just in case we want to drink a little bit.
She'll kind of glance at the half-empty bottle and glance back at him and smirk. A little bit.
I've had the bottle for like, I don't know, 3 weeks now. Trying to find an occasion to go ahead and break it open. I mean, I broke half of it open last night.
That's well you should.
If you want some, because I had an offers it to you.
I'll try it.
Hand you over the bottle.
Yep. And she'll kind of give it a sniff out of curiosity, just because wine has not been a thing she's had really, except for little bits for ceremonies back at home. So she'll give it a sniff, just because the stuff her parents used, well, it was probably more like mold spiced stuff most of the time. So this is a definite change. And after that, she'll take a little bit of a swig, not even a proper swig, just kind of a light tip back just to get the flavor.
The smell is a bit fruity, and the taste is actually a little bit bitter.
And she'll actually, after a moment of mulling over what she's discovered, she'll finally look fairly appreciative. She has a far more refined palate than her player.
Apparently, it is a bitter red wine, and after a few swigs, if Mabe does go ahead and take a few more swigs, Lucas is going to go ahead and try to grab he hands the bottle.
She'll take the initial sip and then a proper swig and then pass it back.
Lucas will go ahead and swig back the bottle once and twice. Cork the bottle back up. Put it in between them. Ooh, holy crap. So that's the plan. Plan is to go ahead, find ourselves out here, try to create something for, a Sept or something like that. Grab it, defend it with our lives, protect the Gaia's sacred places and all the other wonderful, wonderful edicts that are passed down by our generational families. And then have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful prank contest at the end of it.
Sounds about right.
Wonderful. Just getting the idea straight in my head.
I mean, hell, if it really came down to it and you wanted to be able to stay here even without shelter, you can always hang out in Lupus. Just find yourself a den.
This is true. This is absolutely true. I think many of our city-minded and urban-minded Garou will have to go ahead and have a adjusting period, though.
Well, yeah. For the sake of anyone to follow, it'd be a good idea. It's just, at least insofar as getting you out here and happy, you can den in the meantime. And, I mean, at least you'd appreciate it.
This is true. This is true.
I mean, I'm no good at construction, so that's what I'd do.
Goes ahead and scratches his chin. The Changeling guy used to have a bit of a construction company associated with them that would take in and give them like certain skill sets, equipment, and start constructing stuff. It was usually an operation built around Nassau County. But I can easily see them being pushed out in Sulfix.
Yep. Well, I say we do it.
All right. We'll see what we can go ahead and cook up.
Yes. And she'll again kind of set her hands back on the log and cast her face a little bit skyward. Again, it's kind of basking in the moonlight that's pouring out. Who all, I mean, we know we're back, and we've talked to a couple people, but who do you think would actually come out here with us?
The younger generation, the Cubs, they're a good pull to take from. And probably those that are a bit closer to their wolf heart. Lupus's, definitely. Olaf. Hunters of the Lost could probably find themselves well situated out here.
Probably.
Do not know much about the Rock. Do not. Let's see. Shadow Lords. Goes ahead.
I don't know that Garrett would be very happy out here, or Dizzy.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the Rock. Lily might be able to find herself fairly comfortable out here. I think she's used to roughing it, much like Olaf.
I don't know. I mean, Olaf told us about how when he was young, he had to hunt his dinner every night. I don't know. I got the impression that Lily was kind of
Pampered?
Yeah, that's not the word I meant to use, but it works.
Better word would be not given the same treatment.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was still kin, so she was raised like a person instead of like a Garou.
No,
Besides, I can't imagine she'd want to be the only one from our pack out here.
You know what? That's true.
Want to hear a really crazy thought?
Go ahead.
I bet Laughing Shadow would be the best sort of scout and guard we could have for this place.
Now that you mention it, I wonder if he is not already here.
He probably is, but... And she'll literally, like, she will real quick turn around and kind of scan the tree line, just suspiciously. Because he's got a sense of humor on him. Really mean, startling sense of humor. But yeah, I mean, if he isn't already... Dragabash make the best scouts for a reason.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. To be quite honest, for a long time there, Laughing Shadow was looking at my direction, and I do not know what he was looking for.
Well, I mean, if the way he talked to us is any indication, to make sure you were fit. Make sure that you could handle what your job was. To, I don't know, weed out the weak, almost.
I'll accept that one. Morning Kill is in a mansion, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 miles that way, he says, pointing in a random direction.
He's out on... Oh, that's right. He is out on Long Island, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Wonder how far we are from my parents.
About, he makes a quick calculation in his head. Actually, not that far. You want to swing by there before we go back? Because I know for a fact you've got morning training to do.
I want to, but...
What are you
I don't
concerned
know.
about?
Well, I mean, I can't come inside and... I don't know. I mean... I definitely want to.
You want to, but...
I don't know. It's just, it's been a long time, and at this point I almost feel like I should be an adult by the time I come back. Just because visiting once, I just want to keep coming back. And, well, I guess you could take me out anytime. It just seemed really hard to get off Sept before.
It was a little bit hard to get off Sept because there was nobody really available to like ferry you across or like take you on a moment's notice. Most of the other adults had their own business to go ahead and attend to. I'm sure I will find my own business to go ahead and attend to rather quickly, but I'm already trying to station myself out here. And besides, if you go ahead and raise a wolf with fences around them, you will raise a very, very nervous wolf. Don't know where I learned that from, but it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me.
It does. I mean, their territories are huge normally. So being stuck, I mean, the park is big, but it's not that big. Yeah.
Perhaps talk to Olaf and seeing about some of the older, more experienced cubs getting a few more privileges.
I don't know. He's been really strict. And I don't blame him because some people are just doing stupid things.
Lucas goes ahead and stands up and brushes himself off. I feel like we're going over old territory over and over again.
You're probably right. And she'll kind of finally lurch her way up, snag her pack, look around. Where are you going to build, you think? Or do we need to set up a veil first? Think anyone will even notice?
Goes ahead and scratches his chin. No, nobody's gonna notice right off the bat. I made sure, well, people made sure that the caern was as deep in this forest as possible. So you have the option to building one cabin up just to house the first pack that comes in so that they can perform all the basic work of setting up the wards, the theurges, mind you. After they went ahead and set up the wards, the fundament ones, then you start real construction like we have over at Sanshu.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll kind of grin and nod, and she's kind of looking off, obviously kind of imagining, but
And of
slowly
course,
falling in love with the idea.
and of course, he goes ahead and gets low and waves his hand across the scenery. We have a long house, a long house where we have our general meetings, the moot, where all the warriors of Gaia go ahead and gather and have very serious talks and maybe even shouting matches.
Probably. Especially if we're
And
going to have several runes.
mhm. And then he goes ahead and waves his hand over to another side. And there we have our training grounds, our general training grounds. Big open spaces with lots and lots of Gaia's warriors sparring off against each other with call and fang and sword and shield. And then he goes ahead and twirls around again, probably in the direction towards the actual caern heart. And there he goes ahead and like waves his hand. We have a massive monument to the spirits who we go ahead and revere and respect. He's at this point waving both his arms just frantically in the air.
She's trying and failing to keep her composure while he like waves his arms around wildly and occasionally like gives his fingers a waggle for good measure. Got to get that magical finger wiggle going.
Absolutely.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I like this. I think this should be what our pack does. What we formed to
Absolutely.
do, even.
Absolutely. I'm the first adult of all the cubs. I think I should start campaigning.
Wait till we get through Wolf Home, and then, well, whatever.
Don't really want to think about Wolfholm too much.
No, I don't either. I just figure there's no point to to trying to move on plans until it's done. Everyone's thinking too much about it.
Lucas goes ahead and stops his antics and gets more silent, more sullen, stiller.
He'll get kind of a nudge. Don't do that.
Do what?
You're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Be strong.
Why not?
Pretty sure it's bad for you. You can overdose.
Maybe a little bit. Doesn't stop him from being sullen.
Stab it. Nudge, nudge. Come on, let's walk back.
Yeah, sure. Lucas is gonna go ahead and take the wrappers, put them in a plastic bag, put the bag in the pack again, just so that they don't leave any trash. Places the bottle back into the pack, slings it over his shoulders, and starts walking back, cutting down the tall grass as he goes.
She will I'll follow along, and this time, instead of worrying about where they're going, just kind of meander and enjoy it. Take it at more of a strolling pace. Hey, Lucas.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good plan.
Oh, it's the bestest of plans.
Think Olaf's gonna be mad when we get back?
Why would he?
I don't know. He's Olaf. He's always mad now.
Yeah, so long as you are in the barracks, he goes ahead and gives fucking double quotes in front of his head. As long as you are in the barracks at a reasonable time of night to go ahead and wake up for a morning training, you'll be good.
I'm never in the barracks.
Well, as long as you're there for morning training, I guess.
Yep.
Jesus. Guy, I got to be a point that nobody was like bunking in my cabin back at Sept. That
Really?
was a strange point. Well, yeah. Freaking Nicholas was like bedding down at the training grounds. Albert, I banished to the Netherlands for the few
Albert
times that,
has to sleep outside in the Umbra anyways.
as I said, banished. I went ahead and took a few days off to go ahead and make sure that you were comfy during the winter. And Gino, I don't see that often, actually.
Yeah, he's probably out drinking.
Probably.
Yeah, before the whole winter band thing, I took him to the bar in the castle, and he kind of knows I have a tap now that I don't use. So, yeah. Besides, he goes out and does crazy shit with the cholos, or at least goes to the edge of Sept.
I can definitely imagine. That does remind me. I'm going to go ahead and grab Talia. I promised to go ahead and take her urban spelunking one of these days. And now I can.
I have a little thoughtful about that, and then finally kind of resolve the idea that she's probably not the best to come along because she'd slow him down pretty badly.
Goes ahead and gives you his... Go ahead.
How do you spelunk?
Involves going to town hall and requesting several different age-old documents, or at least the access to, and then memorizing a lot, and I mean a lot of sewage and building plans.
Ooh.
Oh, believe me, it pays off. I once found myself under the 21 Club. And you know what's underneath the 21 Club? A huge freaking winery. Where do you think I stole the bottle we're carrying from?
She doesn't look like she's judging. She just looks like she's kind of laughing about it.
I don't plan to take her there. I plan to go ahead and take her someplace else, probably Brooklyn. There's a huge sectioned off. Yeah, there's actually a huge section off piece of the railway that was supposed to be part of the first underground lines in New York, but was, kind of sold off for a few different bureaucrats. One of which went ahead and skimmed oodles and oodles of fucking cash by sealing off the place and having it condemned.
Just be careful, okay? Cause yeah, I don't know what's down there, but I'm pretty sure it's not good.
Yeah, usually things that are buried and sealed up, they're never good.
Hmm.
So from here to there, he says, as he's currently traversing the ditch back to the main recreation area. So from here to there, he says, what's your main concern?
Wait, what?
He says, from here to there, pointing in one random direction and then to another random direction, what is your main concern?
Blink, blink. What, you mean with what you're doing?
With anything. With what you got in front of you.
I think I'm just ready for it to be done.
We're all ready for it to be done. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Being a cub, being compared to all the others, when it was just us, we were exemplary, and now that there's so many, we're getting compared to people who are so drastically different or kind of living with their faults because, we're cubs too. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to stand on my own virtue.
Take
I
my
just hope
advice.
that Chases gets a minute.
Take my advice. Any elder can perform your rite, as long as they know it. Doesn't matter who does it, just as long as it's done and it's recognized. Don't wait.
I thought it had to be the elder of your tribe.
Goes ahead and shakes his head. If I had my way, I would have had Rin do it, and it would have been proper. Besides, there are many elders of the tribe. Jesus is not the only one. Hell, if I got desperate enough, I would have simply hawked a ride all the way to freaking LA and get one of the elders there to go ahead and perform my rite. I got lucky. Don't wait. Find somebody.
I just don't know anyone but him and Travis. And Travis is nice, but I don't know. I guess after all this waiting, it feels like it should be a big deal, not just whatever he comes up with.
He goes ahead and shakes his head. You could find yourself hell if need be. You can go ahead and send word to other Garou and other Septs. Easy enough. I remember Rite Masters being brought into the Sept of the Green once for just a very, very simple, off-the-hand rite that needed to be learned. Send word out. Like I said, don't wait.
What kind of spirit goes that far, do you think?
How far are you looking to go?
Well, if I was going to send to another Sept. Ireland's a long way away.
If you wanted to go back to the homeland, any of Stag Brood's Stag, or at least an aspect of him, would definitely go running across the ocean. If you're
So kind
looking
of think on
for
that.
if you're looking for a Sept in North America, there are plenty of them that I can point you at. Well, I shouldn't say plenty that I could personally point you at, but plenty that you can be pointed at.
I wonder how hard it would be to... maybe on our next hunting trip.
What are you thinking?
Well, there aren't really any deer in the park. And so there aren't a lot of deer spirits or, well, does and stags. So it only kind of makes sense that I'd have to wait till the next hunting trip. Maybe single off, sidestep. See if I can speak to one.
Definitely, but make sure that you have somebody to send it to. Make sure you know who you're sending it to. Make sure Olaf knows. Not something you want to go ahead and do underhandedly.
Yeah, but Olaf would never approve. He'd just say wait for chases.
Would he now?
I don't know. I mean, that doesn't seem to approve of much of anything anymore.
If you make the case well enough to Olaf Raya, he will hear it, especially since you are still a cub under his care. Just make the case that you are going to reach out to the elder Fiona. Doesn't matter who. Chases of Storm can be included in the communicado. You'd probably really appreciate the help, actually. At the end of the day, it's your rite of passage. At the end of the day, it's up to you to go ahead and challenge.
Well, I did. I mean, I told Chases. I came to him.
And what did he
I
say?
asked- He's... I don't know. I mean... I guess he's talking to whoever. I feel like he's probably in communication with people back home, trying to plan something, but really didn't dig.
Well, since it is your business, and since this rite of passage is ultimately going to be upon you to go ahead and receive and to execute, I'll simply leave it at that.
I suppose I can always go back and ask him. I think I will.
He goes ahead and nods his head. Is that what you think is most appropriate?
Well, it seems better than what Chino would insist on, and the whole going in and huffing and puffing and saying, "I'm doing the thing." He doesn't seem to like my my lack of complete and outrageous conviction. He made me march up to Olaf's cabin and declare that I was leading in Wolfholm.
I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. There's currently a cartoon playing in my head that outlines that very, very interesting situation. There's an entire script, most of which involves pumping and shut up cub and or cliath. From what I'm hearing, you're exhausted, you're tired, and you're stressed out. And you feel like you've gone ahead and made exceptional strides just as being a cub. You're more than ready for the ride.
I feel like I am. It's weird to go back and forth between feeling like I've done so much and at the same time like there's so many things I can't do or can't do well.
It's an interesting situation when you're interrupted or stalled, or if you can see a pathway ahead of you, but you're locked off by a gate that doesn't seem to need to be there anymore.
Yeah. Well, maybe if I go talk to him, maybe he's just busy.
Hmm?
Maybe we can get this thing done.
I can certainly imagine. A Garou of his rank and responsibility is often tasked with many, many things he needs to do. It's no sin to be busy.
Nope. I mean, he's the right master. There's other people. I mean, there's the Rot trying to get their totem. There's a lot that goes on that he has to oversee, I'm sure.
Uh, you know why I was the first cub to go ahead and get to my graduation and all my stickers?
Because you're pushy? Oh, grin.
He goes ahead and physically pushes you in the dark.
See? Pushy. She kind of like stuff, like scuff a little bit.
No, it's just simply because I saw the situation as it was and made the logical steps to get it done and didn't like. I saw the situation as it was. I went and took the resources that was at my disposal, not the ones I expected, but the ones that are at my disposal to use. And they gave me a task that was very, very simple that required me just simply not fucking it up. So, my dear Maeve, what I can say to you is it might be a little bit messy. It may not be what you entirely expect or the storybook scenery that you would want, but it would still be valid if it came from anybody else.
Okay.
Lucas is actually expecting a lot more. But when you
I
just
mean,
say, okay, it's like, er?
well, I mean, I just want it to be done. I don't want to disappoint people who expect more fanfare and stuff just because, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty big deal.
No.
She like draws herself up all regal pose for about half a second.
Maybe. But those are their expectations, those are their wants and their needs. And when you get right fucking down to it, it's your right, not anybody else's.
She'll look a little sheepish just because this is not the first time this has been said. Not the second either.
Screw expectations.
I just feel like there are a lot of expectations that I'm gonna have to live up to if I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do. She kind of waves her hands around like, the mystic future. Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Goes ahead and smiles, and like half his face goes into a grin. Nobody can really say that they know the will of Gaia truly and utterly at all times.
Well, no, but I bet there's a whole lot of people back at my Uncle Sept who think I'm going to be something crazy awesome, or else. I don't know.
Goes ahead and stretches his hands. Oh yes, your people, they're like, they're here now, and they're like, all these words and voices are filling my head right now, and I can't quite shake them. He says in the middle of the darkness.
I mean, I'm not saying I know, I just.
You have the perception.
Yeah, it's kind of like going through this crazy change and then being told you're a warrior for Gaia. Saying there's a war is a little overwhelming. Saying you're royalty is a little overwhelming, but just like I have to adapt and accept that this is a war and I'm in it, I suppose I'll have to adapt and accept that there's just certain shit that's going to come with my name.
The only thing that you need to adapt to is what's right in front of you.
She looks down. Grass?
No.
Nope, shrub. There's a shrub there. And I'm pretty sure that's poison ivy. Sidle, sidle. Impish smirk.
Look, there are a lot of deal of expectations, yeah. And I've told you just to take what's in front of you and use it. And it seems to me, at least, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you just sincerely want to get out of this intermediary period between, having done something wonderful and awesome and not being able to do anything.
It's okay. I can't think of any other comparison. So it's kind of like,
Mhm.
say I was getting married, and my options were to have this grand wedding, very traditional, very elaborate, or to just, go to the courthouse and get it done and get it on paper. One's way more efficient, but a lot of people would be disappointed.
Who are these people who would be so disappointed? Where are they?
I mean, I don't know. I want my parents at least to be proud of me, though I guess they'll be proud that I've done it at all. I mean, they've always been supportive. But then again, my folks, if I went and just got married and didn't have them there, I'm pretty sure I would never hear the end of it.
And take them along.
I'll at least try to have them there when the time comes to present myself to the totem. But I mean, if this is anything like, what you had to do and what Cinna's going to have to do, where there's some crazy mission, I
Crazy
imagine I wouldn't take
mission.
them along for that.
Crazy mission.
Yours wasn't a crazy mission. Yours was easy.
He goes ahead and stops himself.
So lift a brow.
I had already proven myself. You've already proven yourself. Senna has probably proven herself once or twice. Talia as well. Chino, maybe. Don't know the whole story with him.
You know, now that I think about it, I guess the passage itself, as long as it's enough, really doesn't matter compared to presenting yourself to the totem.
Whatever the tribal elder declares as the rite of passage will be the rite of passage. It'll be valid. And once you go ahead and complete it, you can go ahead and present yourself to the totem, have your mark, and you will be considered a cliath in the nation. But you know what? I'll understand if you want or need that grand ceremony.
Okay, you win.
I have won nothing. I have won nothing. I have gained nothing. This is all on you. Whatever conclusions you just came up to is entirely in your own head. Come on. Let me take you back.
Trot, trot, trot. Just up.
Whatever happens, like I said, it's you. This is more important for you than it is for anybody else. More important to me, more important than anybody else. It's especially more important to me, okay?
Okay.
Goes ahead and looks at you. Do you believe that?
I believe that what matters is that I do enough and it's done by whoever's terms. I guess it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be ceremonial. It just needs to be done. In the end, the only ceremony that matters to me is that I live up to what Stab expects, I guess. Why do I know more about your tribal totem than mine?
Goes ahead and shrugs. Maybe perhaps you have been among my tribesmen more than you've been amongst your tribesmen? And maybe it's because you've been around unicorns brood and you've been around stags brood? I don't know.
I should probably learn before the rite happens.
He goes ahead and nods his head. If you want to be one of Stag's daughters, that seems very, very wise.
She kind of rubs at her eye a bit. She's kind of rubbing at her eye, her nose, her temple, just like, oh god. It's kind of the weary motion.
He goes ahead and tilts his head, quirks an eyebrow. You're not stressing yourself.
No, me? Never.
Yes, you.
Nope. I would never do such a thing.
You can't kid a kidder.
Okay, no more thinking. Just kind of pat her cheeks a couple times, like trying to wake herself up almost, and pat, 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 pat.
You seem to be well further down the path, even towards the first landmark that Lucas went down. Ah, here we go. Lucas goes ahead and takes that shovel again, plants it into the wall of the ditch, hops his happy ass up, extends a hand back.
Oh, yep. She'll, as before, eagerly take the hand, latch onto his wrist, and clamber herself up.
So, he says as he is turning around again, taking the shovel with him, if you're not thinking about it, do you know what you're going to do?
I'll go talk to Chases. I'll see what he expects. I'll see if he wants me to wait, or if I should try to contact one of Stag's brood. Send them over. Tell my family. Either way, I'll figure out what's happening.
Good. Good.
I'll feel better knowing.
Always better knowing.
Yeah. She'll stuff her hands back into her big hoodie pouch and kind of scuffle along, heading back towards the van, grinning when she sees the ridiculous bright colors.
Lucas will go ahead and take your pack, stuff it back in the back, unlock your door for you, go to his own door, start at the engine.
She'll hop in and go about the process of rolling down the window. Prop her elbow out. Reach over with a foot to nudge Lucas just to be annoying while he's getting ready to go.
Hey, don't do that.
Eh.
I don't know where actually, I know exactly where your feet have been.
Oh, pff, like you wore anything fancy.
Sometimes I wear something fantastically fancy.
If you do that when you're going hiking, that was your own mistake.
Fair enough. He just goes ahead and puts the van in reverse, and Peter's on. Towards the end of the scene.
Yep. With that, they'll pull on out, turn that big old bus around, and head back towards the Sept. And so as they ride along, ever so slightly frigid, thanks to those roll-down windows, or at least one roll-down window, with some better sense of resolve towards their either separate or mutual futures, we'll say thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time on Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.